Final speaker today is Marc Zande, and he is a senior project manager for Cluster Sports and Technology, where he works on initiation and management of innovation projects and programs in the quadruple helix. Marc, I will now hand over to you for your presentation.
Thank you. Yes, so I will start sharing my presentation here. Just a sec. Let's see, this is the best one. Okay, so yes, I'm coming from maybe a bit different. You can see my presentation at the moment?
Yes, yeah.
Okay, perfect. Coming from a different environment, we're coming from the sports environment, which is of course different from the health-related area, but we have seen already in the recent past that there are quite some commonalities here, especially if we're talking about more the preventive area. And that's also where I'm going to talk about. We're talking, my speech is about smart vital urban areas and the activities that we're doing, both from more our cluster point of view, cluster based in South Netherlands, but also within the smart specialization platform, Clustersport, that we have on this field. So let me switch to the next one. Just to explain, Cluster Sports and Technology is a cluster in the Brainport region. The Brainport region is one of the 3 economical regions in the Netherlands, quite important on the high-tech scene. So we work a lot of innovative solutions, and we use that for societal challenges that we see in both our own environment, but also, of course, in the international field. Our cluster is a quadruple helix cluster, so we consist of a number of companies, predominantly small medium enterprises, but also the larger ones, of course, in the region. We have so-called living labs, sport field labs, but also on vitality aspects within the region where we test and experiment in the real-life environments. And we have a very good knowledge field. We have, for example, a Dutch base of the Belgian IMEC, but also TNO, Dutch Research Organization, university, etc. But also a very good link to public sector through government, but also to sports organizations and other more on lifestyle organizations like health organizations. And we are kind of a breeding place for innovation and business creation in sports and vitality. Basically, we've come from more the elite sports support. For 15 years ago we started with that field, but we gradually shifted more in this field, and that's been predominantly, especially also now with the whole COVID situation, we are working on the whole field of inactivity, and that's of course a very important factor for all kind of health related problems that we see, and also economical costs associated with it. And what we want to do is use innovation and also smart technology from, for example, our own environment in order to create all kind of solutions to stimulate a healthy, active lifestyle of people. And that's by creating interaction, etc., between users, also social environments, but also with all kind of environments where you can have physical activity. And basically it's important not just to connect, but also to create fun. So to nudge really people to come into an active, healthy lifestyle. And technology, of course, has been a factor of inactivity in the last couple of years, but it can also be a solution of this inactivity. So we can create more interactive solutions that really make pleasurable environments and interactions that really bring people into activity. And we focus now to develop that into so-called smart vital urban areas. And we do it in both on a regional but also on an interregional level. So basically what we want to do is to create data to see what is happening in certain environments, create from that smart innovative solutions together with companies and other parties, and bring that really to the market to create real market impact. So what we don't do is create a public-private collaboration. It's both from more the governmental approach, because cities and regions, they of course they are directed by government ambitions, but also interact with really private enterprises that can develop businesses and can develop products and services that connect with this vitality approach. And it's important to realize that the data is really relevant for here. We want to both measure things, but also see in environments what the impact is on population. So if we start with the general public data, we use that to get a kind of a snapshot of certain urban areas, see how the population there is active or has certain lifestyles or have economic situations. And from there, we can create all kinds of ideas, and the ideas then bring them also into projects together with companies and startups and create businesses in order to work in that field, to work in a certain problem field that we have discovered from this public data. And in the end, we want to create this smart, engaging urban areas, as either indoors or outdoors, product-based, but also maybe on app-based, to get connections with a more kind of social interaction with people, but all with the idea to make more easy activities like cycling, walking, or sometimes more sport-related things. Basically, for every kind of age population, this is focused. In order to do so, we use a kind of a model. We call it the innovation cycle that we have. So very complicated model, but start with the market needs. So it's about data that we can derive, like I said, public data, but maybe in the future also more personal derived information. If we use, for example, public the data principles as was presented by the speaker before, but we use that to get kind of profiling of users, etc. From this market need, we create innovation services, so we can develop all kinds of innovative ideas together with universities, together with companies, etc. But develop support systems with vouchers and innovation project creations in order to bring these ideas into concepts that can be tested in an environment, a living lab environment, like we have developed in our own region, for example, to test and to see the impact of these innovations on the population and usability of it. And if proven useful, we want to bring them into acceleration programs that we have on board in order to really bring them fast to the market. So it's a real combination of parties, of knowledge parties, innovators parties, living labs, etc., to bring ideas fast to the market and use data as a support in monitoring, in monitoring also the impact, and also see where the needs are really focused. But that we believe in an international collaboration. As EPSI, there's a European platform of sports and innovation in Europe, is a kind of a umbrella organization with all sports innovation related organizations in Europe, with about 100 members. But also we are, as a cluster, co-leader of ClassSport, which is the smart specialization platform on sports and vitality in Europe. And we have now 14 regions on board, and we connect these ambitions and excellences, and we develop projects, and just on the interactive level, for example, project, but also on the more cluster support programs. It's a very important, and that's of course also one of the topics of today, to see how regional but also interregional support can help here. We are very much supported by the local region, the province of North Brabant, but also we connect, for example, in Inter-Europe, different regions in order to come to this kind of more unified approach in the different regions that see also these needs and have this kind of innovation environments. and supported by, for example, parties like Reconfirm, we are able to come to a pipeline of innovation projects. And like the speaker before, also we have gained tough support, technical assistance facility, basically for us more on the whole business model that we have, because we are facing, of course, this difficulties between public and private investment, and how can you align these in order to come to this kind of innovation approaches. And so we have connected now 4 regions, from the Netherlands, from Spain, from Finland and Lapland, and from Italy. And we have some other showing interest to create a kind of a network. We call it a network of innovation hubs on sport and vitality. So we were able to develop these principles, these new products and services, but more from, of course, the industry line of thinking. So it will create economic impact, but also important is the societal impact that we see. And we already see that, for example, in the Netherlands, if you invest €1 in this more societal approach, you are able to return €2.5 for that. So it's a really relevant field of investing. And well, just to conclude basically my speech, we say that investment in sports and vitality pays off. We are in an emerging international and interregional network, and we see that market needs and business opportunities there as a driver for this innovation cycle. But we need to go from societal challenges into public-private business models. And there's the challenge that we need to be able to invest in health without investing in the health systems itself only. So we want to go from healthcare to care for health, basically also by support by more the private enterprises. And in that we need data as a support for the process, because it gives us information on where to tackle, what are the problem fields, and how also if we develop solutions, how can we see what is the impact of that in for certain target groups, but also on society as a whole. And basically we want to change this public-private paradigm to investment. Can we create not only economical but also societal return on investment if we are both investing from the public and the private side. And that concludes my presentation for now.
Thanks a lot, Marc. Indeed, prevention becomes more and more important in the healthcare. So we have already one question from Roel. He says it's very interesting to see how there is always a tremendous social and health-related return on invest, but we all struggle to find a good business model. And he asks, how can we solve this?
Well, basically, this is the question also that we put forward to our tough experts. We started our process in November, so we're just halfway now. But we are working together, for example, with BDO, to come to solid business models. Indeed, it's a challenge because you see the different worlds where the benefit is typically more in the societal area, and if you want to have public-private investment there, then it's not easy, but we try to make also solid business cases within that. For example, just a recent development that we have in our region. It's called City Legends. It's an app for the urban sports. It's a way of connecting urban sporters in different regions, different locations in the city. And they share data of where they can do their tricks, etc. But on the other hand, also the government gets information of where are the best locations for them and where are the challenges. And so the government can profit from that, from the insights that just urban sporters give in this app. And this app is just a commercial thing, but the governments will invest the first hand in order to apply this app in certain environments and get information back. So there you see kind of a public-private combination of how you can create a business model where both sides can profit from. And that's a challenge, but we see also more and more this kind of opportunities where we can connect governments, local governments, regional governments with businesses in order to have both a kind of a profit. But still, yeah, we are still looking for the bigger investments. And well, we had a month ago, we had a presentation on the European cluster conference, and we had some information from the European Investment Bank that basically this societal return on investment is something for them interesting to also invest in more private domains and public domains. So we hope that we can make this paradigm shift in the next year in order to get more investment from both sides. But it's a complicated field. I am totally agreeing with that.
So, and if other regions want to start their own living labs, what are the steps they should take?
Of course, you can always connect with us to get some examples. Living labs, as we see, you can create a kind of a business model there, but you need also here again some kind of governmental support, because a living lab environment is something that is not commercial in itself. It's a non-commercial environment, so you need some local support in order to create an open environment where you can collaborate with the end users and with the businesses. But we do have developed some solid models there in order to create a good collaboration. And it starts with good people, basically. Infrastructure is nice, but people are really important there to manage the principles and to get the interactions between the businesses and the end users and also the local governments. But yeah, we can give more inside information if people are really interested.
Yeah, and what was the concrete role then of the regional authorities to help you?
Sorry, could you repeat the question?
Yeah, what was in concrete the role of the regional authorities to help you?
Different for us in South Netherlands. We see that the region is already investing in this collaboration. So we, for example, they help us in getting access to funding, public-private funding, like ERDF funding, etc. But they also, for example, we're connecting them with the policy. So we are given an example of how we can operate in this field in this public-private alliances, and they are now supporting this in the next round of the smart specialization strategy. So giving more openness in the strategy to pick up these examples. Another example, we are connected very well with Lapland, quite a different region. But you see that there, for example, the cluster principle was not very well developed yet, and that the regional government was helping in setting up this kind of cluster approach. So they connected first the parties that could really build up this cluster. So it's in this kind of supporting mechanisms of building the environments, of building the connections. And also helping to set up the strategies. That is where regional authorities can help really well.
Yeah, and even now in the newer strategies that have to be written. So.
Well, yeah, in the Netherlands they were written last year, so they're now coming out for 2021 to 2027. And well, you see now they also had the new ERDF funds, but also the recovery funds are connected basically to the same kind of strategies. So it's bringing us a lot of opportunities now, because let's be honest, COVID-19 pandemic was for the sports quite a difficult situation, because a lot of competitive sports were abandoned, but a lot of more, let's say, personal sports were stimulated to some level, we see this is the way out also to get a more vital population. So we feel that we can really contribute to get out of this crisis, and not on the short but also on the long term.
Yep. And so are the citizens eager to share their data? It's also with consent and
Yeah, I think we already spoke yesterday with Jeff from Vito to build up on these principles. We also acknowledge in our region that the ownership of the data should be by the citizen himself, and we can only use information derived from it to aggregate it anonymous level in order to use it in our principles. But if you are able to create a secure environment where people are feel that they're trustworthy and can deliver their information, then the citizens will not have too much limitations in this.
well, thanks a lot.
And also something in return, benefit in information or whatever. So it's always two sides of the coin.
Thanks a lot. So now I will leave it to Jolien, and thanks a lot again.